Number 79 with 81 votes, we got uh Kensuke Sasaki, and he was on Andretti's list at number 36, and he was also on JC's list at 85. So we'll have both of you guys talk about that.
I can't say enough good stuff about this guy either, man. I mean, he just when you think of a professional wrestler in your head, okay, what does a pro wrestler look like? You're going to probably see Kobashi, and you're probably going to see Sasaki. That's what it is, dude. If you just imagine in your head what does a pro wrestler look like, those are probably the two people whose body type you're going to see in your head. Now, look again. I know we're not really trying to talk about accomplishments with tag team stuff, but it's worth mentioning whenever it's really important to a guy's career, right? The American audience might know him from teaming with Hase, when they took on the Steiners in the early 90s. I mean, those are incredible tag team matches to go check out if you want to get into some tag team stuff. But he was the Power Warrior. A lot of people remember him as the Power Warrior too, when he was teaming up with Road Warrior Hawk, and sometimes even with Animal too, when they would do like trios matches. But I mean, that's a great character, man. I mean, he fits right in with the Road Warriors with the shoulder pads and everything. It's really cool to see that. So he was involved too for a little bit in MMA. I believe he was 2-0 in MMA, if I remember correctly from reading about that stuff. But one of the things I thought was really cool about Sasaki was the fact that he trained in the Heart Dungeon. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that he had been he was in Stampede for a little bit when he went on excursion, and got to work in the dungeon with Stu and whoever else at that point in time. That's pretty cool to see that. When you see a guy that left Japan to go on excursion, he ends up in the dungeon in freaking Calgary. It's pretty awesome to see that.
Yeah, actually, he won.
I don't know why you don't really hear his name more whenever you hear about like the most important people in in Japanese wrestling history. I mean, I think it's probably because Sasaki kind of peaked right around the time when New Japan wasn't doing great, in my opinion. So it could be because of that. But the guy had a 30-year career, just a powerful ass kicker. I mean, dude, that match with Kobashi. I mean, I know I said it last time when we went over, Kobashi was in the top 100 last time, but that match from Destiny 2005 in Pro Wrestling Noah, it's on YouTube, it's free. It's maybe my favorite match I've ever seen in my life. I really, really gotta just encourage people to go and check that out. And the other thing about Sasaki too, that we have to mention, he's the first of 5 people to ever hold all 3 major heavyweight titles, right? He held the IWGP title, the Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship, and then in the Pro Wrestling Noah Championship. So I mean, that's a pretty impressive thing. And the other people were, Muto was one of those. Kojima, who we've mentioned, here, Yoshihiro Takayama is the other guy, and Nagata. I'm sure we'll get to Nagata here at some point. But I mean, those are 3 or 4 other people, pretty good company to be in, right? If you've won all 3 of those major titles in Japan, man, I mean, again, like when you picture a pro wrestler in your head, what does a professional wrestler look like? It's probably going to be a beefy guy that's strong as shit that looks a hell of a lot like Sasaki. So that is an important thing. This guy had a great career. I mean, he's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and so what you had mentioned about him and his accomplishments, he was 2-0 in MMA. He won both of them by submission, and
nice.
The first one was 36 seconds, and the second one was 2 minutes and 35 seconds, both in the first round.
Nice.
So clearly Stu got in there. Grabbed.
Stu taught him everything. I mean, that's you gotta get in there and stretch him.
Stretch him. Jeez. So yeah, he won the IWGP Championship 5 times. He was tag team champion 7 times. Won 2 G1s, 97 and 2000. We're not going to mention the PWI. We already talked about how much of a gimmick that is and how crappy that whole thing is. But he had Match of the Year in the Observer Awards in 1991, and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2013. So pretty accomplished guy. I mean, literally, if you look at all of his accomplishments, like he wrestled everywhere, like especially whenever he was on excursion, like he went everywhere. Like yeah.
So I think also worth mentioning the Tokyo Sports Awards are probably worth mentioning for some of these guys. So Lifetime Achievement Award from them, 2014.
Mhm.
Two-time Match of the Year. He had the 2000 Match of the Year with Toshiaki Kawada, and then in 2005 with Kobashi, which is you gotta see it. Wrestler of the Year 2004. Probably worth noting here too, the fact that he was the U.S. heavyweight champion in WCW. And
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but he lost that belt to the one man gang. And
Oh, your
it was,
favorite.
he's one of my favorites, but I don't know. Dude, I found that match probably a year ago, and it's not very long. And it's just like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what the scenario was behind that, where he lost that belt to the gang, really quickly in a match. It's very strange, but look, it is what it is, But he still won the belt. He still was the U.S. heavyweight champion. If an American audience is interested in checking that out, with the WCW stuff. But other than that, man, just a hell of a worker, man, and super strong. Great to see that guy in the ring. I mean, he performed with a lot of really great people over the course of time, and he's won a lot of stuff. And it's definitely a guy. I know we're talking about a lot of Japanese guys, a lot of international talent. We're trying to give them a shine here too when we're doing this 100, but we're giving you people that we think you need to investigate and people that you should investigate. If you're a wrestling fan, you should know who these people are, and you should go out of your way to check them out because they were a big deal in history. And you want to go and you want to be a student of history, be a student of this industry because it is really fun to investigate these guys.
Yeah, agreed. Uh,
Sasuke is one of those guys who I didn't know a ton about, but in trying to expand my horizons, I learned a bit about him and why he's, deserves to be on this list. I really looked at it and I saw that he's in that class of the heralded Japanese wrestlers of his era. Worked at all the major promotions in Japan at the time, five-time IWGP heavyweight champion, seven-time tag champion, held all of the major heavyweight titles. Over there, he was even a WCW US champ. There was a crossover kind of show. Observer Hall of Famer, had a great match of the year, I think 1990 or 1991. But he's just one of those guys, just one of the top guys in Japan of that era.